I believe in soulmates. Not that typical mushy, gushy love stuff, but that we meet people in life time and time again who have been placed here to upend our routines or to redirect us toward our life's purpose. These will be friends, maybe even lovers, people we're connected to, people we occupy space and time with consistently. Maybe even you are a soulmate. I remember when I met my first soulmate over 10 years ago. I'll never forget it. I was walking into the 6th floor dorm elevator at the illustrious Howard University. And as I followed her in, the most intense and electric feeling came over me. Something inside me lit up all over. I couldn't name what was happening. All I knew was that I needed to get to know her and that knowing her was going to change my life. I also kind of knew that what I was feeling wasn't right. I'd been raised pretty religiously, and girls are supposed to like boys and boys are supposed to like girls. And sure, as a good Christian, I knew that I would accept all people, but I never expected to be all people. I mean, I'd had crushes on the playground and in middle school, and by the time I got to high school, me and my friends would sit around the lunch table talking about who was cute and who we wanted to date next. I even got to have a couple of boyfriends in high school. I mean, of course, my family's pretty conservative, so all of my dates had expectations and, of course, a curfew. And I only occasionally broke the rules. So I was known as an all-around good girl, and no one was concerned about sending me hours away to go to college. Not even me. I expected that college would be a lot like high school, paying attention in class, paying more attention to the boys, doing some extracurriculars, and having a little bit of fun. I even got a boyfriend in the first few weeks of being in college. And then that day came. Like I said, she lit me up all over. Self-awareness is something I've always had, and so I knew that I needed to act on this attraction. I started Facebook messaging her, and these are the days post MySpace, pre-Facebook pokes. If you know, you know. We were hardcore messaging every day. And I mean, they were sometimes pretty simple conversations. Oh, I saw you, you look cute. Oh, I saw you, you look cute. But it felt like all of the things I'd ever expected liking someone to feel like. This was the stuff that they always talked about. And until then, I never noticed just how much I wasn't enjoying the company of all of the guys I was hanging with. All of a sudden, I was balancing this attraction. On one hand, it was amazing and felt great. And on the other hand, it was absolutely terrifying. I liked my life. I was going to marry a man and have babies, of course. And then I started seeing her. We went from Facebook messaging to saying hello in the hallways, and all of a sudden spending hours upon hours in her dorm room, chatting about Black diasporic culture, listening to all of our favorite music, the best rappers, Beyonce. Y'all, I was a Beyonce hater until I met this woman. Don't worry, she got me on the right path. I'm a faithful member of the Bayhive. But we'd spend hours just getting to know each other in this way. We'd even spend time in the study room just doing homework. Sometimes we'd talk about silly lesbian dramas like the L Word. Every Sunday we went to church. Sometimes we'd make Sunday school. We'd always make the after church dinner in the fellowship hall. And when we would get back to the dorm, sometimes we would discuss the sermons or actually cry over the sermons. We were so scared of ourselves. We did not know who we were. I mean, some days we'd be searching about who we were and falling in love together. And then other days we'd be so confused and falling right back out of love and breaking up. I mean, I guess it was like most young relationships or young couples where you're breaking up to make up all the time. Luckily, our makeups were pretty great. We'd be back to having our authentic conversations and challenging each other to be better people. In our best times, I found that my grades were thriving and that my friendships were blossoming. I mean, there were times I even wanted to tell people that I maybe liked girls. What I really knew was that in our made-up times, I was vibing. I was living my best life. It was scary. And of course, before the next school year even came, we broke up. Like most relationships, when you have a breakup, it's probably because someone's not being their full, authentic self, regardless of if they're straight or if they're gay relationships. And in this relationship, that someone was me. I'd been so sure of who I was coming into school that once I got there and things were not what I expected them to be, I just couldn't behave appropriately. I started acting very differently. And by our final breakup, I failed a class. I'd lost a scholarship, lost friends. I'd fallen into a depression. It was over a year before I could even start to put positive thoughts back to our relationship. And it took me a while to realize that my best moments were when I was being my authentic self. I was gay. And only when I was living authentically was I actually able to achieve my dreams. So I put back into practice all the habits that I developed while we were dating and found myself starting to turn around and thrive again. I was doing well in classes and eventually even my own full-time career. That was over 2 years ago. And nowadays when I think about that relationship, I'm always struck by how our ability to be so open and honest with each other changed the course of our lives forever. I'm also certain that soulmates exist, and she was one of mine. She taught me how to look deep inside myself and answer the questions that I had for myself so that I could land on my right path. I also know that you have to choose yourself to work on and grow your own passions and strengths. That way, when the time comes for you to be a soulmate, you're ready.